first keynote speaker, which is Dr. Lampropoulou. Dr. Lampropoulou is an associate professor in the University of Athens. She holds 2 bachelors in nursery and psychology, 2 master degrees in psychology and special education, and a Ph.D. on special education, school psychology. So Ms. Lampropoulou is starting working with us, and hopefully we will see her in our future conferences, trying to assist us from her sector, which is the wider medical sector, in foreseeing and resolving problems that are around us. So, Katerina, the floor is yours for the next 20 seconds.
Thank you very much. Thank you much for your presentation and for your introduction. I'm very happy to be here. So when we think about the university, we often think about exams and lectures and degrees, but there is a simple question that we rarely ask, and that is, how does the place itself make students feel? And how does this affect how they perform and how they feel? So today I'm going to explore how a specific university environment shapes student well-being and performance, not only through teaching, but also through space and environment and atmosphere. So when we refer to the university environment, we understand it is a very complex ecosystem consisting of several dimensions, such as natural environment or social environment or even academic pressure, each affecting students in a different way. Our study wanted to see how our students in the School of Philosophy, where the Department of Psychology is, how they perceive the university environment, and if these perceptions could predict psychological outcomes in terms of engagement, motivation, sense of belonging, burnout, and overall students' life satisfaction, and in a way to bridge indoor environmental conditions with human experience, and show what that might mean for better building design. So just to have an idea of what we are talking about, this is the School of Philosophy. It's built up on a hill. It is the largest and oldest School of Philosophy in Greece. The main building started operating in 1988. And now it serves around 13 departments and 31,000 undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral students. We have multiple amphitheaters up until the 4th floor with capacity of 300, 200, and 100 students. We have smaller classrooms from the 5th floor and above with movable furniture and better view. And we have many places where students can relax and meet and interact. We have a cafeteria on the 4th floor. We have a restaurant, and we have this large, I don't know if it is, large open interior space where they have their gatherings and their meetings and concerts sometimes. And we have many places like the bottom one around the School of Philosophy where students sit, especially during spring semester. We have a new library started operating in 2019. And some small museums, which they are not visible from the main entrance, but they are in the building. So let's go back to our study. We used 2 sets of questions regarding the environment. The first set had to do with the perceived environmental conditions. You can see the categories under which the two sets of questions regarding the perceived environmental questions. You can see the categories. Layout and ergonomics, you can see an indicative item. The seating arrangement helps me hear the instructor clearly. Physical factors, noise, thermal conditions, and so on. Greenery, I can see nature, I can see trees, I can see green. Aesthetics, the beauty of the place, the warmth, the quality. Wayfinding, cleanliness and maintenance, availability, and quality of rest and social interaction areas. The second set of questions have to do with the subjective satisfaction from the environment, shared common places, lecture halls, technological infrastructure, interaction with peers and faculty, and so on. And we have 5 psychological measures regarding engagement, motivation, sense of belonging, and the variables I have already mentioned. We use the 5-point Likert scale, ranging from 1 to 5. The higher the score, the better, apart from burnout, which is the other way around. Here you can have a view of the participants. 201 students participated in the study, mainly female. We are the School of Philosophy after all, and mainly from the Department of Psychology. And here you can have an overview of the mean scores for each factor. We are not very happy with the mean scores regarding the environment. Okay, they could be worse, but they could be better. Many scores did not even reach the middle of the scale. Things are somewhat better for psychological outcomes. Our students seem rather engaged and satisfied and with low levels of burnout. So we wanted to see if any of these environmental factors could predict the psychological outcomes. So we had multiple regression analysis, and here are the results. For a wayfinding and quality of rest and social interaction places, along with satisfaction from interaction with faculty students, were the strongest predictors for sense of belonging. Satisfaction from interaction with faculty was the strongest predictor for student life satisfaction, burnout, and engagement. Greenery and satisfaction from classrooms were the strongest predictors for academic motivation, and satisfaction from classroom were again the second strongest predictor for burnout. We did have some moderation analysis in order to check further the interactions. We had 2 moderation models. In the first model, we had perceived environmental conditions as a moderator, and in the second model, we had satisfaction from the environment as a moderator. We didn't have many statistical significant findings, especially after home adjustment, considering that we checked more than 50 or 60 combinations, but we did have some interesting results. Let's have a look at those. So green affects satisfaction. If you have nature, if you have green, then you are more satisfied. And when students perceive a place as a beautiful one with quality and warm colors, then the impact of green on satisfaction is even stronger. Wayfinding affects engagement, but if physical conditions are not good, then the impact of wayfinding is weakened. Aesthetics affects sense of belonging, and if there is green, the place, the impact of that variable on sense of belonging is even stronger. A clean and well-maintained place affects motivation, but again, if physical conditions are not good, the impact of a clean place is weakened on motivation. Quality of rest and social interaction place affects burnout, and if those places are accessible, we understand that the impact of quality is even stronger. Let's go with the second model here. When students are satisfied with the technological infrastructure, then the impact of aesthetics, the economy, and motivation is even stronger. And we did find that even in poor conditions, high levels of satisfaction from technological infrastructure can be a protective factor against the negative impact of those variables of motivation. Quality and access of peer and social interaction areas affects motivation, especially if there is peer interaction in those places and if students are satisfied from this interaction. But again, if you think that without peer interaction, quality and accessibility, even if you're alone in that place, affects motivation, that's a significant finding. Economy affects engagement, but if you also have a supportive relationship with your professor, then the impact of economy is even greater. So if I'm able to see and listen to my instructor better, the one that I perceive as supportive, then the impact of economy is even stronger on engagement. For those students who are already satisfied with common places, the impact of green is not so significant. But it is significant for those students who are not satisfied. So if we have green in the place, even if I'm not satisfied with common places, then that mediates the negative impact. Of course, this study doesn't come without limitations. It was a correlational study. We had self-report questionnaires. We did have also interviews and open questions I just presented a part of the project, but again they are self-reported data. And of course the sample was not representative of all the students in the School of Philosophy. But we think that we had some interesting results, and we did see that the university does operate as a multi-layered system. It can affect different aspects of students' performance and adjustment, and we see that the university environment is more effective in boosting positive outcomes, but it cannot fully compensate for structural stressors. So let's look at the findings more detail. So the university environment affects students selectively, and we see that greenery and wayfinding and quality of rest and social interaction areas that might be considered secondary compared to other dimensions, they are in fact very significant because they can reduce the cognitive workload, and they can affect how students think, and therefore how they feel, and therefore how they behave. The social environment was the strongest predictor indeed. Yes, the interaction, satisfaction from interaction with peers and faculty were the strongest predictors, but these are not purely social, because space and design affects interaction. It can facilitate interaction or not. So social outcomes are embedded in design. Sense of belonging was the variable that was best explained by our model. 40% of the variance was explained by the environmental model. Yes, again, the social environment was the strongest predictor, but again, follow the mechanism here. Environment affects interaction, interaction affects sense of belonging affects engagement and satisfaction. Learning spaces are significant, classrooms are significant, and especially functionality of classrooms. They can boost motivation, they can reduce burnout. And although good classrooms might not fix everything, poor ones actively increase student stress. Burnout was weakly explained by our model, and that was expected because burnout is mainly related to workload and academic pressure. But overall, we see that when students perceive the environment as supportive and comfortable and accessible, then they are more engaged, more connected, and more satisfied. So buildings and environments and space and design does affect students. They do affect how they feel, how they think, how they behave, how they perform. So we can make use of these findings. Of course, the specialists in the field know better how to turn these findings into practice. But here are the main points. Since interaction is so significant, then we should design for it intentionally. And we should create spaces that can facilitate this interaction. We should have high quality and accessible rest and social interaction places where students can meet and relax and recover. Nature supports performance, so it should be integrated in the university environment strategically, because we found that it is not enough just to put a plant in the corner. It should be done after careful thought. Environmental comfort remains fundamental. All studies have shown that when we have steady thermal conditions and quality of air and lighting and low noise, then students can focus better and are more engaged and satisfied. And being able to find your way around, wayfinding is very significant. For the School of Philosophy, this is a big issue. As you recall, the place was expanded, and that led to modifications and adjustment. And to tell you the truth, for someone who visits the School of Philosophy for the first time, it gives you the impression of a big maze. Even I have been there for ages as a student, as a faculty member. If I need to find the new locations, sometimes it can be frustrating. So I think that we understand, of course, that design alone cannot fully address systemic stressors, but environment does play a significant role. Buildings can play a meaningful role in students' adjustment and performance. And we see that the most effective university environments are those that quietly optimize how people meet, how they interact, how they navigate, how they recover. And I think the main message today here is that if we want better academic outcomes in terms of adjustment and performance, then we should not only ask what our students are taught or how they are taught, but also where they are taught and how does this place makes them feel. Because place is not just background, it's a very significant part of the learning process. Place is a psychological experience also. And I think that we all agree, if we want to build our students' well-being, we do need the well-being of buildings. So, thank you very much for your attention. This is my main talk.
So, if there are any questions for Mrs. Lampropoulou from the audience, then Katerina, allow me a comment. You mentioned the effect of the green color on buildings. Green color on buildings. Buildings on the green color. Green color.
Not green color.
Green color on buildings.
Not green colors, the nature and trees where
Yeah, the effect of green.
Yeah, it's still green.
It's still green.
The green color.
Hopefully Panathinaikos, but let's stay on green. So, I don't know how many of you have an experience on naval ships and especially submarines, but I think that many of you have seen the Red October or the Fifth Missile or the Crimson Tide. Have you seen the color on board? Is light green. There are studies proving that this light green color has a very good effect on the crew well-being in this tin can environment. So it's one more occasion that proves that our comments are always updated as right. Thank you, Katerina, very much.
Thank you very much.
I think that later it's open for your rating.
Thank you.